And what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It is your boy Cheap Ludes, and I'm here with some market tips. So before we get started, obviously like, comment, subscribe if you're new. Help me hit my 1,000 subscriber goal. That'd be pretty sweet, especially with the fact that everyone's frolicking around with next gen and I'm over here just toiling away on current gen, which is fine. I'm not really too worried about it. I'm going to be probably the only person who's creating content on current gen. I guess past gen now, because current gen is technically out. It doesn't matter. Anyways, we got some new challenges out in 2K, which is pretty cool. They actually put some pretty nice ones up here. They're easy enough to do, and they get you a pretty decent amount of XP. We got our cover athlete challenges. We have like Paul George, Kyrie, Giannis 10 dunks, AD, Lillard, Zion, and Kobe. Now, good news about the last three is you start with these three cards. You can just go play them on rookie mode, and you can finish all of these pretty easy. You also have, like, you know, the starter Zion we got this year if you didn't pre-order the large version. So that's pretty cool. AD might be a good time to sell your Giannis cards. Now, they are only going to go down in value. It is a pack day, but it's also like we have 14 days to do this challenge, so it probably just offsets himself, and he's still going for around his normal 20k, I'm guessing still. So I wouldn't go out and buy any of these cards. Like when it comes to like Lillard, you start the game with a Lillard card that's just as good as the base 20 current Lillard. So might as well just use that one, make 6 3-pointers in a rookie domination game or something like that. Pretty easy. If you haven't already, obviously still go for these guys. And then we have the unlimited challenges too. LaMarcus Aldridge and Chris Mullin are both really, really good cards, and I do have to praise 2K for actually giving us pretty decent reward cards this year. Buck Williams is still really, really good. One of the best defensive cards in this game, but I do want to talk about the new cards that got released today. That's kind of the main gist of this entire video. The loyalty cards. Udonis Haslem, I mean, he's not great. He's a really good rebounder. He's actually pretty cheap amethyst if you're looking for a power forward. He's probably going for around 8-9k at this point. He's been drifting. But this guy, Steph Curry, absolutely not worth it. I promise you, he has 41 silver badges. So he's actually pretty similar to, like, let's see, where is he? I gotta scroll for a while. He's not very different than the starter Dame that we got, basically. Yeah, here. Starter Damian Lillard, he's not very different. I think I just like boosted these badges on day one for no reason, but either way, like they're almost identical as far as like badges. I don't think. Yeah, I think even Dame has a couple more. Yeah, he has like one more badge. He has like a chase down artist. Steph, you can give him like 4 more badges, but it's not really that big of a deal. But the most important thing is Steph Curry has 0 hot zones. Like, I mean, not a single hot zone. He doesn't have any cold zones either, so he's still a little bit better than the actual amethyst one we got in the original. Yeah, so he's still a little bit better, but at the same time, he's not worth what he's going for right now, which is about 10, anywhere from 10 to 15k. He's kind of fluctuated a little bit. That being said, if you have a bunch of them, now's the time to sell them. And I'll talk about a bunch of cards that are now is the time to really get rid of them. Havlicek, over the next few days, it's going to be the highest value he's ever going to get because we are going to be getting super packs at some point. So, what do we got? 15 days left? 14 days? Yeah, so probably 2 weeks from now, we're getting super packs. Possibly even sooner, to be completely honest with you. Wouldn't surprise me in any way, shape, or form that next Tuesday we would get super packs because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, can you lock in for JR already? Is that it? No. Okay, so Sam Jones, Marcus Camry. Oh, so we still got 2 more packs until lock-in. Okay. So, either way, though, selling John Havlicek within the next 2 weeks is probably a really good move, just because once those super packs come up, they're going to tank all of the values of all of these cards. Now, that being said, when it comes to the guys from Season 1, those guys' values are still going to remain for now. Obviously, until they get completely game broken to the point where they're not even worthwhile anymore. Like Ben Wallace, Lamar Odom, if you have any of those guys, put them up for 100k. We still have like card collectors out here that would pay for these cards at this stage in the game. Yeah, there's one Chris Webber. How many Steve Nashes could there be? A few. 80K for Steve Nash is good if you have him. Like, it's not a bad thing by any means. See what Dikembe is up to. Dikembe, yeah, if you can get 80K for Dikembe Mutombo, I would recommend that. Kyrie, you can get 100K for Kyrie, do it. Playoff records, guys, I think AI is still kind of expensive. Yeah, you can get upper 90s to 100K. Mark Eaton, let's see what's up with him. Ooh, Mark Eaton's a little cheap, but I'd still sell him for 50K at this point. My main point being, if you have any of those first season guys, get rid of them. When it comes to the second season guys, Tony Parker is still kind of cheap, but at the same time, it is worth probably getting 60K right now, because once those super packs come out, he's literally going to be like 20K. Same with like Ilgauskas. Ilgauskas isn't very expensive right now, but at the same time, getting 50K for him now versus getting 15K for him once we're filled up with super packs. Peja Stojakovic, I've talked about it a bunch of times. It's been time to sell Peja. We're going to start to see buy it now. Peja's here in a second. No one's bidding on these, so still recommend selling them. If you have any of the possessed guys, sell them over the next couple of weeks, because once those super packs come out, we're going to get Amari Stoudemire's that are less than 100K again. Tracy McGrady, you can pretty much sell him whenever. He's going to hold his value at 200-300K until another Tracy McGrady comes out. That's just how it goes. Kawhi Leonard, if you picked him up, good for you, at around 50K. If you picked him up then, same with David West, if you picked him up around 15K, you can make a pretty decent amount of MT now. If you invested on a bunch of Dino Rajas, you can make a little bit of MT because they're going for at least double their value, which is like 2-3K. So, you know, the team up guys are going for a little bit more now that they're out of packs. Good thing. I'm going to wait to sell Kevin Love because I think over the next week or so he's going to go up in value because there's going to be less of them. But like I said, don't wait longer than the 2 weeks because the super packs will be coming. Same with Wilt Chamberlain. I think once they start dropping off the marketplace is when I'll pounce out and sell them. Probably get some more MT that way. So I'd give it a little bit to sell these guys. Caron Butler, Chris Paul, like their value is kind of fluctuating. Chris Paul's still going for around 7 to 10K, which is pretty absurd. Well, there's some for 6. But like I said, over the course of the next 2 weeks, that's about the most you'll ever get for them. So it might be a good idea if you're not locking into the packs to move on from those guys now. When it comes to David Robinson and Dame, you'll never get this much MT for these cards ever again. If you pull a David Robinson, I recommend just doing his challenges and selling him because, like I said, his value will never be higher. Same with Damian Lillard. It just won't. This is a 92 overall Diamond Dame. This is probably the last time you'll get anywhere near 100K for this card. It wouldn't surprise me in a week if he's down to like 70 or 80. And then when the super packs come out, he'll be down to like, 49, 50, if that. So definitely on the lookout for that. And if you do have a high amount of MT, obviously I've talked about it before in other videos, picking up Manus is not a terrible idea. Like 90K, 85. People are selling Manus for 84, 83. Any cheaper than that? No, but I'm going to buy this one for 83 though. Why am I buying Manus for 83? Because he's going to go up in price. Simply put. So here's the thing about him and Dominique Wilkins. So they're not in the super packs. So when we get super packs in 2 weeks that I've been talking about all video, those two guys specifically will not be in them. Why do I know that? Because they came out in Season 1, and what we're getting is Season 2 super packs. So those two guys are not going to be involved, which is honestly super good. You can make a pretty substantial amount of MT doing this. If you pick them up for 85K, it's entirely possible that once that card is revealed, I mean, we're going to be sitting and seeing Manus going for 100 to 150K. So worst case scenario, you're only making 10,000 MT, which is kind of it's a big risk financially to wait that long on 10K MT, but it's possible that we see a Tim Duncan type situation where they're going for 150 to 200K MT because everybody sold off all their Manus. Does that make sense? So when the cards are released, people are like, oh shit, I want that card. I got to go buy Manu again because I sold him. That's going to happen. That literally always happens. So he is a really good card to invest some MT in. Granted, it might be better off if you invest in. If you plan on getting next gen, might be not a terrible idea to invest in a bunch of Manus on current gen, and then switch over to next gen when you sell them. Just because a lot of the people with a lot of the MT were going to be on next gen consoles. So, not a terrible idea to poach on current gen, transfer over to next gen, especially if you have the Mamba edition. You're going to be able to guap a lot of MT doing that, just because cards are going to be a lot cheaper on current gen, I believe, rather than next gen. At least initially, cards on next gen will be a little more expensive, but then I think that tempers out, and I think cards are a lot rarer and they're a lot cheaper because there's just a less of a player base on current gen. So if you do happen to have both games, period, like you have like the Mamba edition, you have Xbox One, for example, and an Xbox One X, might not be a terrible idea to switch back onto the Xbox One, poach some cards, then jump back on the Xbox One X. Now, they talked about shared market house, like a shared auction house, but I haven't really seen it, so I don't know how they're handling it yet. So I do apologize if the tip I just gave you is, non-usable in any way, shape, or form. Just because they haven't released anything that really says exactly how that works. I know the badges are different on next gen, and I don't know if it's because, like I said, we have a shared auction house, and if you buy a card on current gen, and then you go over to next gen, do the badges change? I don't know how that is exactly going to work, so that's going to be kind of interesting. Oh, 84K. He's got 17 gold badges. Yes, sir. Come home. But Manu is somebody that I am definitely staking a lot of my MT in. As you can see, I have 4. Every time I see one go below 85K, I just buy it. So I have 4 of them right now. I definitely think he's going to be worthwhile. Obviously, I'm still high on Klay Thompson getting some sort of challenge at some point. So once that hits, I'll have a bunch of them to sell. Another tip that I always tell people when it comes to gold, silver, and, bronze cards don't matter. They go for about the same 700 to 800 MT normally anyway. But when it comes to gold and silver cards, it's always best to wait at least a day or two after packs come out to sell them. Just because everyone's ripping packs, so they're actually their most plentiful on pack days. So if you wait a day or two and you put them up, you'll still get some people who just jumped on next gen and they're wanting to complete collections for tokens and stuff like that. Also, not a terrible idea to hold on to at least some of the rarer guys until the end of the season when the new token reward players are announced, because people are going to be thirsting for tokens at that point in time. So it's not a terrible idea to keep hold of a good example will be a silver guy off of a good team, just because there's not very many of them. So I don't think I have any of them specifically, but let me look for some guys that it would be a good idea to keep. So a silver guy off the Bucks, Kyle Korver, I'm pretty sure is expensive. Yeah, so he's going for 800 MT right now because a lot of people are pulling him. Not a terrible idea to just keep a hold of him for a little bit. I would rather hold on to him for a few weeks and sell him for 1,500 than just sell him right now for 800, if that makes sense. So Pistons guys, teams with a lot of silvers are usually pretty good too, because there's always at least one that drops the absolute least. Thon Maker I haven't seen very much. Yeah, there's only 3 of them, so he's not a bad guy to wait on, because people are going to try to complete these collections and they're going to pay whatever. Because when you think about it realistically, somebody who has 14 out of 15 players but doesn't have Thon Maker, to get those 10 tokens, they're basically, in theory, paying 5K for 10 tokens. Most players are going to pay 5K for 10 tokens, especially if they want that player immediately. So you just got to hold off and wait for people to do that. But anyways, it's been your boy Cheap Ludes. I hope these helped you in any way, shape, or form. Subscribe to the channel, drop a like, comment down below. Check me out on Twitch. I'm going to run some Unlimited later. Other than that, check out the podcast, Will This Ever End? Donate to the Patreon if you want to support your boy. Help me buy a next-gen console at some point. Other than that, all you need to do is like, comment, subscribe. That's it. That's all I need. And I'll be back with more videos pretty much every day, all the time. So take it easy.